Hey everyone, I'm with the Decentralized Derivatives Association, and today I'm going to show you how to do a swap on the Ethereum network. So first thing you're going to do is go to the Decentralized Derivatives GitHub page, which is linked on our website, and then go to the documentation. In order to get started with this tutorial, since we'll be using the Remix IDE, you will need to download Metamask, which is this guy up here. We have links on our documentation to the Metamask website. You can just click, and then if you're using Google Chrome, it's very easy to install. Then you'll also need to fund it with some Ropsten testnet ethers. You can go to this link right here, and you'll need to just copy your address from your Metamask account, which you can get by clicking here, and then clicking copy address to clipboard. And it works really, really well. So the first thing that we will do now is we'll go to Remix, and it's going to start loading. And this is Remix. If I've already been on here, it will probably come up with other code, so we can pretend that this isn't here. What you want to do is go grab that code, which is right here. You'll just cut and paste the whole thing, put it in to the text box. The cool thing about Solidity code with Remix is that if you have it uploaded to GitHub, you can actually just import it into Remix. So now we're going to go over to the Run tab, and you'll see the environment is injected Web3. That tells us that it's going off of the Metamask compiler. And then what you will also want to note is that there's a positive amount of ether in there. If you don't do that, you won't have a very successful swap. So now we'll need to go to the swap factory. This is the contract that you'll call that will create you a swap. And you can get the factory address on the documentation right at the top. Currently there are two underlying reference rates, either the end of day Ethereum US dollar price or the end of day Bitcoin US dollar price. And we'll do one on Ether, and copy that, go back over to Remix, and then you'll just paste it right there into the address field and make sure it says factory. And this should pop up very quickly. Now, in order to create a swap, you'll have to pay a fee. So you click 0.01, which is the current fee, and then you'll come down here and click create a contract. Now, the thing about MetaMask is it actually, whenever you have a contract that creates another contract, sometimes it can estimate the gas wrong. So it'll give you too low of a gas limit. So you'll want to just put a 2 there or double it or something like that. So that way it doesn't give you too low of a gas limit and you'll run out of gas during the thing. Just notice also that this is not the actual price. This is the max that it can charge, and gas prices on the Ropsten Test network are really high. But then you'll just click submit, and you'll see that it created that transaction. The ... means it's pending. You can click on that transaction. It'll pop you over to the Etherscan, and you can see that we have a pending transaction. This can actually, Ropsten can be very slow at times. You can jack up the gas price, which was a variable Metamask. Sometimes it'll go a little bit quicker. But now we will just wait on it, and hopefully it works. We'll go back to the Remix IDE and get ready. So now what it's going to do is create a swap for us, which we'll then have to do another add address. So we can go down here, click the swap contract, delete the add address, and we'll go see if it's ready. It is still pending. So we can just wait on that, and there it is. To get your new contract, so this is the factory contract. However, if you go to internal transactions, you'll see that it created a new contract. So you can just click on this one, And you'll see there's a contract address with nothing in it, and that's because we have not done anything with the swap. So we can copy that, go back, and then paste it into the add address. Click add address, we'll scroll down, we'll see we have all these public fields that we have yet to fill out, but this is our swap. So now we're going to fill in the details of our swap. The first field is the ECP field. This is for whether or not you are an eligible contract participant. This is US regulations. Luckily, it means it's the CFTC version of the SEC's accredited investor. And since this is fake money on the Ropsten Test network, I think we all have plenty of money, so you can type in true there. The next field is the margin that you're going to place into the contract. And we will place in 1 Ether. How much does the other party have to put in? We'll say that this is an even swap. And then the notional. So the thing you want to take into account here is that the notional versus the margin is sort of like the leverage. So if we have the notional here of 10, now if the reference rate, or the Ethereum US dollar price, moves by 10% in the opposite direction that we're going, we can actually lose our entire Ether, or if it moves 10% in the other direction, we can gain the entire other party's Ether. So we'll do that, and we will say that we are long, which is true. And now we need the start date and the end date. The start date and the end date unfortunately have to be in hex format. However, there is in the documentation a nice little website to convert strings into hex. So we'll go over here. We will start this tomorrow. We'll convert, and then you have to put a 0x before it. Put the whole thing in quotes. Copy that down. And go back over and paste it. Now we have to change it 28th. We'll do a 1-day swap. Paste that. And now the premium fields. This is if you just want to incentivize some other party to take it. So the long premium would be the amount that you have to pay, which would be this one. So if you put in 1,000, it's infinity, then you would actually have to pay an additional, you would be paying into the contract an additional Ether. That would just be a gift to the other person to take the other side of the contract. Or you can make them pay you to take the other side of the contract. But we'll make them both 0 for simplicity. Then we can click create swap. And, oh, it did not work because we didn't even put any value. So we'll come in there and we need to make sure that we place in 1 Ether. And now whenever we click, it will ask us to submit it. And you'll see we have one of these pending. Now, since these don't take place for another day, I'm not going to be able to walk through the calculation and the payment. But all that's going to happen next is you can go up and copy this address right here. This is the address of your swap. You can have your counterparty come and do the @address, and then they would enter in the fields, and they would enter the swap. And let's say you can't find a party to take the other side of the swap, you can click the exit at any point in the contract, at least until the other party takes the other side, and then you can just get your money back or re-enter some of the fields. And then at the end of the contract, so the 28th at 4 p.m., you can go up here, click calculate. It will calculate the change in the Ethereum US dollar underlying reference rate, and then figure out how much you have to pay based on the 10 Ether notional. And then you can click pay swap and retrieve your portion of the 2 Ether in the contract, and the counterparty can do the same thing. So we can click our MetaMask, go here, and we'll see that it was successful. So we officially made a swap on the Ethereum network that is open. So somebody maybe can go take the other side of this Ropsten swap. Thanks for listening, guys.